Hello, Gary. This is both in response to the previous video that you posted to me and an attempt to tie that conversation into the broader discussion of objective morality that is now afoot. I agree that credible models of productivity can be arrived at, but the question becomes, however elegant those models may be, what goals do those plans serve? I submit that those goals are nothing other than manifestations of the consumption and reproduction dynamic you identify in many of your videos, and which you seem to find detestable. So, if those goals, which are the things that humans happen to value, if they are contemptible in any way because they are ultimately pointless, circular, or whatever, then equally repulsive and pointless is this new brain activity of perfecting their fulfillment and enjoyment, also known as reason. Ultimately, I think it is all quite pointless, if by it we mean life or the universe. But I do not find any of it to be in the least bit contemptible or disappointing for having no reason. That would seem to imply it ought to be some way other than it is. Perhaps this is where I really find myself disagreeing with you, Gary, and it may be why I made my video response to begin with. Now, I may have it all wrong here. It's possible I'm misunderstanding your perspective on this. However, this is the general impression that I've been left with after watching many of your videos. As for the subject of objective morality specifically, I find the whole question mistaken and inapplicable to human beings, at least the way it's usually framed. Hence why these discussions usually end up going nowhere. Moral behavior is rooted in human biology as a species of our social instincts. A failure to understand this is the root of all attempts to found morality in things as varied as the decrees of gods and ancestors, or trying to make it a conclusion of reason. There may be a credible equation, as you put it, that maximizes the desirable and diminishes the undesirable, in conformance to the recognition that the suffering of all sentient beings is qualitatively similar. But that's just it. The equation could only possibly be preferable because of the human capacity for empathy, which is what gives rise to all identification and consequent concern for the suffering of others. Other than for our humanity, it would not matter to us in the least. In other words, other than for this arbitrary fact of being human, we wouldn't be having the discussion we are, or along the basic lines that we're having it. Let's take a hypothetical. Imagine an intelligent, sentient species either on some alternative Earth or another Earth-like planet. It's also a predatory species. Well, no matter how mathematically sound your suffering equation may be, it would be absolutely meaningless to such a creature, even if they could understand quite clearly what it accomplishes. If there is something objective in morality, the object is man himself and what he values. Public morality, in turn, trades on generalities about this fact.